Okay, so I already glued my nails on. I didn't really have to shape them like that because I actually bought some nails tips that like are already like shaped like oval, so that kind of helped me skip that step a little bit. And I'm going to now start to apply the acrylic and the glitter.
We got to talk about Jason Lee. Jason Lee, once again, you were in the news for really starting some shit. Except he just kind of skirted around it and basically said it's old news, and why should we care about it? And although it is very old news, and we probably shouldn't care about it, but it speaks to your character, which is why we're gonna talk about it today. In addition to that, I gotta say that now I live my life for me. And I feel like to be in a successful relationship, I cannot be selfish, and I'm a selfish person right now. So I need therapy. I ain't even never had to share. I'm the only kid. How you think I'm gonna share some more? You trying to turn this on? We're not trying to turn this into OnlyFans. P Valley. No, what is P Valley about? Does this stand for PUSSY? I'm just saying, like, wasn't Tawanda on the self-help reality show many years ago? She was. And Iyanla was helping her, you know. Y'all remember back on that show when Iyanla was helping Tawanda and she made Tawanda singing them all? You know, Iyanla was like, well, she wasn't wallowing as much back then, but she was wallowing, you know. She said, coming up, Tawanda Braxton. That's all under the same umbrella, Ella.
She was very much in love with him. She had no idea that she was setting up a blood
so I'm done. And now I'm just going to shape.
Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Instead of applying the acrylic.
Carolyn King abandons her family in search of a fresh start, only to find
I'm going to shape my nails.
They were just in love, infatuated, and smitten. I think she just wooed him in such a way that he just couldn't resist.
But it turns out to be a match made in hell for anyone who gets in the way of Carolyn and her man.
They had her stripped naked, placed a gun at her head, and pulled the trigger.
They were...
Return onto West Park.
Now I have to shape this one.
Something peculiar in the distance.
Maybe fast.
They see a car parked on the street.
Okay, I'm going to shape this one.
Off to the
This
side,
is shaped.
2 men.
finally found out that
now I'm going to wash my hands.
I was shocked. I could not believe it. For me to hear that my sister, I thought it was ridiculous. Unbelievable.
We cried for like days because it was so disheartening.
I dealt with a lot of emotions. The emotions of what is going on.
Together.
Tiara's family is still reeling from the realization that she may have been involved in a gruesome crime, and, if convicted, is looking at some serious prison time.
I was angry and I was upset.
I couldn't feel anything at that time. I was numb. I was worried about her. I didn't know what was going on.
Tiara and Isaiah are tried together, but are represented by different attorneys. Neither defendant testifies on their own behalf. But Jocelyn Moore, the prosecution's key witness, does take the stand.
Okay, now I'm gonna go wash my hands.
She tells the jury what really happened in the hours leading up.
She said, they found Mary. And when she told me that, I threw the phone on the floor. It was very, very, very hard. My heart just dropped out of my body. I just could not believe it.
Nobody knew exactly what was going on, so it was scary. It was the type of crime that people are afraid of.
Everything as far as emotions, I have to put in the back of my mind, and you can basically kick into. I've got to figure out who did this and why.
Detectives are quick to ascertain that one of the Tuckers' vehicles is missing.
So I entered the vehicle in the NCIC visa and stolen and taken in triple homicide.
If the vehicle is stopped by law enforcement, the system will alert officers to its connection in the grisly crime. Meanwhile, detectives search the residence for signs of a possible motive.
We believe it's more of a robbery going very big.
3 people were found bound with duct tape, plastic bags, throats slit, inside this home.
We were scared out of our wits, but we knew that this was a different type of crime. This was simply evil.
Complicating matters is the fact that detectives can find no evidence of a forced entry.
It was the eerie feeling of the unknown. You didn't know, really. Okay, was it random? Was it not random?
There was a lot of panic and unrest in the community because we knew that the people who had killed this family were still at large.
Investigators need to learn more about Ashley and her parents to move forward. The next morning, detectives reconvene at the medical examiner's office, hoping the autopsies of their 3 victims will uncover more clues about their gruesome deaths.
The parents had plastic or saran wrap around their heads and faces. They were suffocating.
Connect Ashley Baskerville to another slain family.
It was big in the beginning with 3 people murdered, but now it was getting really big.
And soon, detectives would uncover the truth about the beautiful 21-year-old.
It was just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Police in Richmond, Virginia are investigating the brutal triple homicide of Ashley Baskerville and her parents. As the medical examiner finishes up with Ashley's autopsy, she makes a surprising discovery.
Ashley Baskerville was wearing a wedding ring around her neck.
But this isn't just any wedding ring. It contains the initials BH, the initials of another recent murder victim, Brian Harvey, whose wedding ring was missing when his body was discovered. Brian and his wife Catherine were well known around Richmond.
This was a family that was very well liked and admired in the community, just a light in Richmond.
They enjoyed a lot of respect and affection in their world. They were convivial, the kind of people you wanted to be around.
Which made the details of the Harvey's murder all the more shocking.
It was the annual New Year's Day party at the Harvey house.
One of the Harvey's friends who was attending the party showed up about 20 minutes before it was to begin.
He kind of felt like something was off, and when he went to go in, that's when he smelled smoke and called 911.
Firefighters arrive on scene as the Harvey's friend watches in horror. They quickly make their way to the basement, where the fire seems to have originated.
When the firefighters got down there, conditions were such that they could really see much. They found people. It wasn't until then that they realized that it was something much worse.
This family of 4 had been killed.
They had been beaten up, choked, and left for death.
When the perpetrator left the Harvey home, they stole 2 laptop computers and Brian Harvey's wedding band.
As violent as it was, how do you make sense of this?
Less than a week later, the horrific murder of the Harvey family of 4 is compounded by the triple homicide of Ashley Baskerville and her parents, and the stolen wedding ring that now binds the 2 cases together.
So basically, you had a violent home invasion and the murder of 7 people, all within the first 6 days of 2006.
In an effort to understand the connection between Ashley Baskerville,
Forget a lot.
Lillian tells investigators that a week after their arrival, Ashley and the men finally left.
They was trying to get Toya to go with them. And I thought, Toya, you ain't going nowhere with them. And she didn't. All three of them left together. Ricky, Ray, and Ashley.
Lillian's statement provides police with their first real suspects in both the murder of the Harvey family and the deaths of Perciel and Mary Tucker. What they don't understand is how or why Ashley ended up dead as well.
Ricky and Ashley loved each other. How did she end up being killed?
Ooh, look at that. Let's see if I can focus.
Lillian Pauley has helped Richmond police identify Ricky Gray and Ray Dandridge as possible suspects in the murders of both the Harvey family and Perciel and Mary Tucker. But the question remains, how did Ricky's girlfriend, Ashley Baskerville, end up dead? And did the love of Ashley's life end up taking it as well?
When they found her, Brian Harvey's ring was on her neck.
You just had that sense these crimes were connected.
Detectives speak to Lillian's daughter, Latoya, to get some answers. Latoya tells detectives that she and her mother knew the trio was bad news, but she had no idea just how bad.
During the time when they stayed at my house, Ricky, Ray, and Ashley was sitting in the van in the back. And Toya eased up beside the car, and Ashley had a laptop computer. She looked and saw the pictures of the Harvey family on the computer, and Ashley was erasing it.
Latoya had just seen a news piece on the Harvey family and was horrified to think that her childhood friend may have had a hand in such a heinous crime.
Okay, guys, so I'm gonna
Luckily,
finish
Latoya
the
managed to get away
rest
before
on
anyone in
the
the van
side,
noticed.
and I'll be right back.
Toya came in my room.
Here it
That's all I
is.
know. He said, will you
So
hear my side
I'm
of the story? I said, yes, I will.
done painting.
Ricky
But
confessed
this is the
to
colors.
being high on PCP the
This
day
is my
of the
outfit
murders.
this Sunday, but
They all came down from Northern
I
Virginia
hate my
area
eczema.
with robbery on their mind.
I have a breakout.
Ricky says the trio drove around in his van on the morning of January 1st with their eyes peeled for potential homes to rob.
Okay.
He said
She was told no by Ricky. He said, stay in the car. That's where you belong.
She just was not thinking through her decisions. She wasn't thinking about long-term consequences at all.
Ricky asserts that while Ashley kept watch, Ricky and Ray entered the Harvey's home.
Ricky, your relationship can cause
There it
an
is.
outcome that you never could
I'm like, I
imagine
want
for your
can we,
life.
I wish you guys would see my outfit.
It all started at 5:30
But
p.m.
here
on
is
October
my
21st,
nails.
2013. Witnesses claim Kiana was gunned down by a shot fired from a silver car
Thank you
outside a convenience
guys
store on Lee Street
so
in Kiana's
much
hometown of
for
Alexandria, Louisiana,
watching.
as she fights for her life at a nearby hospital.
Until next time.
Investigators are trying.
Thank
They
you.
saw a silver car around it.